Hello everybody, welcome to another Peteman Reviews. Today we have the Decepticon Cannon Transport, a Micromaster combiner from Generation 1. As you can see, this comes in two parts, the Cannon Transport and the dump trucks. With the great name of Cement Head forming the front part and Terror Tread forming the rear part. The dump trucks themselves, while released exclusively with the Cannon Transport, are actually redecos of the Autobot dump trucks as well, namely Sledge and Hammer. Slightly odd names for dump trucks, but then again, Cement Head isn't exactly a great name either. These are combiners, so of course the whole thing combines together, which kind of works. I mean, why a dump truck or cement truck, whatever you want to call it, is towing a cannon transport is a little bit odd. But hey, never mind. As you can see, the two hook on at the front. Because the cannon transport has got these treads on it, it does make it a bit more rotating. Equally, it does all completely split apart to make even more combining options available. We'll just start off by transforming these guys first. In terms of combiners, they obviously can combine with other combiners as well, though quite how this is useful by itself, I don't really know. And again, as a dump truck or cement truck, whatever, this is a bit useless as well, but never mind. So transformation is quite simple on both. That flips down like that, and there we are, it's done. It's fair to say that you would expect them to be quite simple, just because of the fact that they are, after all, combiners. That's the gimmick. It's not so much the transformation. Similar here, except it's, as you can see, slight reverse. That flips down, and then that rotates up that way, and then that flips down as well. And there we go. That is Cement Head and Terror Tread. Yeah, enough said about the names, I think. Now, the actual cannon transport itself has got a couple of different modes. So you can combine it as one, and you have a cannon transport, or you have so-called independent battle stations. So these flip off. As you can see, there's two parts here. Literally, that just goes on like that to create one gun. That rotor flips up like that to create another gun. And the idea is you can have your little guys sat in it, if you wish, and they can operate it, or they can fall out and operate it. So there we are, fairly simple, but not too bad. So that's one version. You get the impression obviously they're not meant to go on runways, but they just look like they're actually rail transports rather than road transports. And perhaps if these guys were trains, that would look a little bit better rather than a dump truck hauling around. But never mind. So that's one version. Now they do have a base mode. This is, after all, combiners, and most combiners at this stage have base modes. So you flip that out like that. This flips up. They do combine together again to create this. You've got a rotating cannon at the top, and then these, probably best put in like that to create more guns. And then you've got your ramps that side, and this that side. As you can see, these are fairly standard connectors, so they will hook onto other guys as well. That you see. Downside, of course, is the fact they're a little bit on the low side. So if you had, say, a countdown bit, it would look a bit like that. I suppose it works, or even Scorponok is fairly large compared to that, so it would still hook on, or Scorponok could hook on to these. Nevertheless, you've got quite an effective base. It can split apart again, although this side becomes a bit top heavy, but you can split them apart. However, they kind of work at their best like this. So that's not too bad actually, fairly effective. If we sit this guy down here, so you've got anti-air, and they don't have to man the guns, but you could stand there if you want. And you could get your other Micromasters that you might have dotted around as well. And they tend, obviously he's a bit too tall, so when the gun rotates he's going to get clobbered. Like so. So perhaps he could work the gun. Yeah. The fact that you do have, by this stage, because these guys were by no means the first to be released, the Micromaster combiners were kind of the third or fourth wave of Micromasters. In fact, he's even taller, so that's even more likely going to hit. So anyway, by this stage, there were quite a lot of Micromasters already out there. So if you had got them all, you can now actually start to do things with them, even let them fall out. So in that respect, having the bases that come out and the Micromaster Combiner bases come out was a good idea, in that it gave you a lot more opportunities to use your Micromasters. It's a bit of a shame that you didn't get some of the larger guys didn't come with bases. Obviously, that goes well with the Micromaster Transports as well. Same scale, fits in quite nicely with all of them too. As I say, it's a shame the full-size guys, you didn't really have many bases. Yes, Metroplex could interact with the smaller Transformers, like Bumblebee Gears, Hubcap, those kind of guys. But there wasn't really anything that could interact with the larger Transformers. And to be perfectly honest, with the exceptions of Titan Metroplex, there still isn't. So there is a bit of a gap there, perhaps. In terms of cannon transport, it works at its best when it's as a base like that. That's quite an effective little defensive position there. Quite formidable with your guns there, your guns there, and your guns there. Plenty of opportunities for your characters to interact with them as well. As an actual cannon transport, again, it's quite good. Again, I think it would be better if it were a rail transport rather than a road one. But nevertheless, it works quite well. It looks like a cannon transport, as opposed to poor old, I forgot his name, Rough Stuff, that's it. So there's poor old Rough Stuff here, which not quite sure what he's meant to be. So that works quite well as a cannon transport. Quite why you have dump trucks hauling it is never going to be explained, I think, and perhaps that's a bit disappointing. There are many opportunities they could have done differently, but it is what it is. And as a toy, it's actually really effective. Probably one of the more effective combiners as well. So there we are. That is the Decepticon Cannon Transport for Micromaster Combiners with Cement Head and Terror Tread. Thank you very much for watching. Please do leave the comments below, click on the other clips, and we will see you on the next one. Thank you very much. Goodbye.